It's time to get your geek on with Janey Makes a Play. And then theatrically, it's time to get your geek on! Okay. That's theatrical. Yeah, theatrical, baby. My name is Jared Callahan, and I'm the director of Janey Makes a Play. Our film follows a 90-year-old Janey as she writes and directs her original community theater for the small town that she lives in. We shot Janey and her troupe of community theater lovers in the year 2012, and then we've been editing for a couple years to now bring Janey Makes a Play to theatrical audiences. It debuted on the film festival circuit in 2015 and did a wonderful year meeting people all over the country, and so now we are debuting in Atlanta and Los Angeles, San Diego, and then the film is going to be on iTunes this week. We learned a lot in making Janey Makes a Play, and one of the things we learned is we filmed too much, which you would think, how can you film too much footage when you're filming a documentary? Once time passes, you don't ever get that back. But what we learned is that if instead of filming 10 or 12 or 14 hours in a day, maybe you should film 8 hours a day and spend those extra couple hours where your brain is still working and you can still see straight at the end of the day, rewatching your footage. And what you do in doing that is you discover what you actually have, not just that you saw or that you heard with your ears, but what did you see through the lens of the camera. Because in the end, the audience 4 years later doesn't get to see what you saw with your eyes or heard with your ears, but they get to see what you recorded. And so if we had been doing that, we would have caught things like lines that we thought we had that we didn't have, and storylines that we thought were really strong that weren't coming through on film, and we could have made some adjustments along the way. To get this movie filmed, we brought in my very talented friend Brian Bangeter, who had shot films before, but he's also the lead singer in multiple bands. He's a very talented man. And so his artistic vision kind of set the tone for the way that the rest of us filmed the movie. And so I think 6 or 7 others of us held cameras and filmed as camera 2 and 3 on the film. And our goal with filming this documentary was, and especially in a small town, was to have as little impact as possible. We didn't want our presence with big cameras following them around to change what they were doing. So we shot on DSLR, photo cameras that also do video, and we filmed just as unobtrusive as possible. We didn't want to be in the way or stick cameras way in their face, and as the people in the movie became more and more comfortable with our presence, we'd get closer and closer. And by the end of the movie, the edit that we put together, it looks like that you're a fly in the room, that we teleported you into this small sacred land where you get to participate in this behind-the-scenes creation of a community theater play. So the way that we filmed was very specific to the kind of movie we were trying to make, but also the tone of the characters in the film. Our composer, Joel P. West, is a genius. We met in college. We actually were skateboarding together down at our dorm, and we were friends. And Joel was in a band, so our friends would go see every time Joel would play a concert. And he's just an incredible musician who started to push himself. And he went from writing albums to writing different kinds of music, and then he started doing film scoring for one of our other friends named Destin. And so over the years, Joel has really honed his skills as a composer and as a performer. He plays many different instruments, and so for our film, he was the first person I wanted to ask, and luckily he came on board. So Joel P. West did our original score, and Google that name, listen to his music and the bands. He's in multiple bands. He does a wonderful job of, for our film, knowing the town, knowing the townspeople, and knowing Janey, and bringing all their stories together in a way that you just feel like you're a part of their group. And that's, I think, a powerful thing in the way that music can pair with storytelling and the film that we made. Brad Kester is an incredible editor, and he sorted through hundreds of hours of raw footage to find these pieces. And so the version of the movie that you'll see, the final version, I think, is version 18 of the edit. And up until, like, even in version 17, we were going back through, and he was combing through and finding extra pieces of footage to say, I think we can replace this shot with this shot and make it better. And so we really brought an incredible amount of care to every shot and every frame of this film. Which in the moment you might not realize, but by the end of the movie moves really quick considering it's about a small town, and you get a lot of information and a lot of feeling and a lot of guts and some feelings, some like the rawness of this town because of the genius of the edit of Brad Kester and the quality of the score of Joel P. West. Janey Makes a Play is easy to find online. It's janeymakesaplay.com. And if you go to our website, it's got the link to buy or rent the film on iTunes. It's got all the social media handles and buttons. It's got the trailer, and it's got all the upcoming screenings. And one of the best things you can do, not only follow the film and try and see the film, but host a screening. Small films like ours compete against all the big popcorn blockbuster films that have millions of dollars in publicity, and we don't. So the way our movie exists is by you watching this now, doing something about it. Seeing the film yourself and then telling someone who you think loves community theater, loves old people, loves documentaries, and loves small towns or is from a small town, loves their grandma and misses their grandma. And so if you care about any of those things, see Janey Makes a Play, but then tell someone about it. I want theater troops and universities or schools or anybody who does the arts to be able to use our film as a fundraiser to help them do what they do. So our film will spread not because we have a ton of money to tell people about it, but because you will tell people and it will do your community some good.
As soon as you see her, she was so tiny, very distinctively dressed.
They say that she writes plays. Oh yeah, that's Janey. She's like a legend around here. You mean she used to write plays? Oh no, she writes plays now.
You know, it's a community theater. If you want to be a part of the theater, you get a part.
We've had auditions before, and we've had one person show up, no people show up, but we keep hoping we'll get new people.
I love this town, but there's nothing here.
Yeah, it's hard to exist in a town like this.
And that's why drama is so important, because we have these kids that don't have a place, and they find it in theater.
I love acting because you're not you, but you're something greater, something heroic.
Well, it's hard to believe that she's 90, but I went to her birthday party and it seems to be true.
Well, working on plays keeps me young.
This is what we call Hell Week in the theater business.
And nobody knows really the flow yet.
But they know they need work, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
It may be the last play I do, who knows?
Line.
I forgot the line.
Really, this is different. I don't remember my line.
And it just wasn't happening. And I just decided, well, son of a gun, somewhere or another, we're going to pull this thing together because I am not going to have a flop for my 18th play. And what is that line he says? All we need is a miracle. You know, I used to think, I wonder why people that are older take naps. That seems like such a waste of time. Now I know why. Because we poop out and have to rest.